Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me remind you that we are covered by the gov't No Government License, which allows for the reuse and distribution of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bitcot.org. This is episode 50, which I think I titled something clever like asterisk middle fingers to the government or something like that. That's a burying the lead. We're going to talk about a story about that later. But yeah, 50, you guys.
Holy shit.
OG
I know. Big time, dude.
50.
And we still haven't pod faded.
I was just gonna say that.
Some of us have, but
Yeah.
not the.
But I mean, you think about it. It's like what's that? It's like I mean, in terms of weeks, that's like 100 weeks because it's like every other week essentially.
Yeah, we've had a few here and there that have been like consecutive weeks, but not many.
Yeah.
Right?
Not many at all. So
Yeah.
Still going
almost
strong.
2 year. I mean, we're creeping up on 2 years.
What are we gonna get each other for an anniversary present?
freedom.
Well, I think we have a link about a guy that
There you go.
carved something nice. We could maybe talk to him.
That guy. Let's see, when was our first episode? Let's see,
When was our first episode? Anybody? Do. Give us the Jeopardy music.
I got January 29, 2017.
Jeez. So yeah.
As episode 2. I don't know where episode 1 is. Well, no, maybe it was episode 1.
But we're close.
Oh no, there's episode 1 right there. So episode 1 was January 15th,
Yeah.
2001. It was me, Derica, Mark,
Mhm.
Mandy Silver, and Melissa.
Yeah.
Well, you got to figure 104 weeks is 2 years, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, January 15th, 2017.
Nice. So yeah, that's gonna be our 2-year podversary.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Episode 52.
Yeah. Well, we're raking in the big audiences now.
Derica had red hair. I'm trying to look at the video, but Derica had red hair.
Red or pink?
I can't really tell. It's a red or a pink, something like that.
Oh. I don't know, man. I've been through so many fucking colors.
It's not the confectioner punk hair.
Okay.
It's kind of like slicked back a little bit.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. There's been blue, and there's been pink, and there's been purple, and there's been red, and all kinds of weird stuff.
So
Gotta
yeah,
mix it up, man.
today's the 16th, so we're a month shy of 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
So I mean, that would put us, if we did it like 2 weeks, that'd put us right at 50. 54 would be.
That would be 52.
Or, 52 would be right at 2 years, huh?
Which makes sense because we do it every 2 weeks, and there's 52 weeks a year.
We skipped a few and we had consecutive.
But then we've done a couple extras, and it's all worked out.
I ain't complaining.
Many more.
Yeah. I am so proud of myself for getting that math right just a second ago. Can I tell you guys?
Because mathing is hard.
Well,
hard.
It is when you've already taken your medicine for the night. Mathing is really hard.
I don't need math. I got a calculator on my phone.
Mm,
Oh, I'm too lazy to bust it up, though.
yeah. No, I had to take some heavy duty stuff.
Oh, your back started?
Yeah, not as bad as it was, but it's been raining for 3 days, so I haven't been able to go get in the hot tub. So, you know, that's not feeling great because that's my therapy.
It's raining right now. It's raining right now. I can see it out the window.
You guys are getting rain?
Instead, I'm sitting here talking to you bastards.
But you're getting rain. That's awesome.
We need it.
I know. It broke your drought, right?
Yeah.
So that's good.
We need light rain, not heavy rain, because we still got people are still sleeping in tents and stuff from the fire.
Right. That's shitty. But that's contained now?
Well, yeah, the fire's out.
Okay.
The one in Paradise is out, but it ended up being like 180,000 acres.
Jesus.
Like 13,000 homes destroyed, like another 5,000 businesses. 86 confirmed people. Yeah, 86 confirmed people killed. Over half of them are identified, and only a few of the people that died are like younger than 50 years old.
Right, because it was a retirement community, right?
Yeah, a retirement community, lots of mobile homes and disabled and like some really elderly people.
New conspiracy theory.
Eugenics.
Social Security office lit that fire.
Eugenics. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Laughs and fucking Australians sending over eucalyptus trees on the 100th
Right.
and every anniversary.
Yeah.
Well, they're just mad because they don't exist. I always fuck with my Australian friend, and I'm like sending her shit about like Australia not existing and like people from Australia being actors.
Australia is the biggest psyop in the world.
I mean, kangaroos. Come on, look at it. Look at it.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, they couldn't come up with more believable wildlife. I mean,
like giraffe. Okay, like look at a giraffe. Like that's what nature did, and you expect us to believe like kangaroos are natural? I mean, come on.
Yeah, a whole continent full of shit that wants to and can kill you. Come on now, you guys. You can do better than that.
It's all part of the greater, grand, fucking flat Earth conspiracy. You know? And the funny thing is, you guys think I'm joking.
I was seeing one the other day. Like I saw a screenshot of a conversation with a flat earther, and like they're trying to convince the other person that the Earth was flat, and somebody chimed in and said, "Oh, it's not flat; it's a sphere." Right, and then like the flat earther responded, something like a sphere is flat or something like that, and it's just like the conversation de-evolved so fast.
It does that with flat earthers. I've noticed.
Well,
I mean, like
technically,
the sphere is flat.
Technically, it's not a perfectly round ball. It's an oblate spheroid, is what they call it.
Okay, Professor. Yeah. Fucking thank you.
Because it's fatter at the equator. It's flatter at the equator, so maybe that's why it gives the effect of seeming flat to people.
Flatter at the equator?
No, fatter.
Oh, like fatter at the equator?
The Earth is like, the circumference of the Earth, I believe, is larger around at the equator than it is, like, at the poles, obviously.
Huh.
So it's more like a football shape, I guess, but not like as oval.
Or some shit like that. Anyways.
Yeah, let's not go down that path. We have other things to talk about.
I'm losing track of the conversation.
Did you guys hear that? I guess Oregon's thinking about legalizing psilocybin.
Shrooms? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, I mean, I obviously our crowd would prefer decriminalization, but at the same time, I guess it's a step in the right direction, right?
Yeah, there's been studies that have come out about it recently, and there was some Ivy League school. There was an article from them, and then one of their medical journals talking about the reintroduction of using psilocybin to treat depression and anxiety,
Yeah.
PTSD,
Yep.
things like that.
Wasn't it?
And then,
I feel like it
and
was
then-
Harvard.
was it Harvard? I think it might have been Harvard. Yeah.
Could have been. Yeah, but I mean, there's people that have like severe like anxiety and depression issues, and are actually medicinally prescribed to take psilocybin. Yeah, and like you said, there's more than just one medical study backing up that fact that it does, if not alleviate, cure depression completely. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a big trend going on. Like, I mean, there's some people that I know that do it, but like microdosing with LSD and whatnot, and they said that it like enhances their brain function, but doesn't make them trip out. Or like it's kind of like you're like right on the cusp of tripping, but like not having the hallucinogenic effects and things like that. But your brain is like on optimal fucking functioning power. Because they did some study on that too about how. Oh, I forget exactly what it is, but it like opens up like two parts of the brain. I believe it's the visual cortex and the memory part of your brain that are like kind of like separated when you're not on it, but like when you are on it, it kind of like allows like a doorway to be open between the two.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's pretty interesting. They did like I think CAT scans of people while they were on acid.
Yeah. You know, I'll be honest, that was my favorite high I ever had in my life. Was tripping on acid.
I've never like laughed so hard in my life other than that and like on shrooms.
Oh, I loved that shit. I loved it. And everything
like 45
was just,
minutes in, you're like sailing.
Yeah, and everything was so much fucking awesomer. I know it's not really a word, but you know, like the details. You get so into like you feel like your eyes become microscopes and like every detail of everything, and it just the world blows your mind. You know,
like all your senses are heightened.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
That was so long ago, though. Oh my god.
Yeah. I think the first time I ever dropped acid was I was like 15.
I was 19. And that was 19 years ago.
Yeah, PBS has an article from 2 years ago about using psilocybin, December 1st, 2016. And the name of the article is "Hitting the Brain's Reset Button."
Yep.
No, so I mean, it's not like revolutionary new thing. I mean,
no, it's not. No, and I mean, I've seen studies on it for years now. I mean, they've been studying psilocybin for a long time.
John Hopkins was the school.
Oh, okay.
The team of John Hopkins researchers calling for magic mushrooms to be made legally available as medicine. That's from October 11, 2018.
Oh no, it was Harvard was a study about gun violence. Never mind. I had seen that surprised me that it came from Harvard. But anyways, go ahead.
Isn't Johns Hopkins in New York City? I believe it is, because I think I have a friend that does like medical what the hell does she do? Medical biology or some field like that. She makes like crazy amount of money, but really?
Baltimore, yeah.
So then what the hell is it that I'm thinking of that she said she was doing like studies with like marijuana and whatnot in terms of like the medicinal properties of it?
Well, I think that these hospitals have like the big ones, the big research hospitals have, like satellite campuses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if she's in New York City, there's a possibility she could still be working under the aegis of Johns Hopkins. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I know it's one of those big outfits.
In a recent article published in the medical journal Neuropharmacology, 4 prominent psychiatrists wrote that psilocybin, the active ingredient in magic mushrooms, should be placed in the most lenient category by the DEA and made legally available through clinics pending final data from several ongoing clinical trials. In essence, they argue that the potential benefits presented by psilocybin outweigh its possible harms.
Yeah. I mean, like,
so.
Why does it?
Psilocybin is a Schedule 1 drug.
It's Schedule 1?
Yeah, weed is what? Yeah, and weeds I think is Schedule 1 too, with like heroin and everything else. It's so ridiculous.
one of the prerequisites, and this is how you know the whole.
Yeah, bath salts is Schedule 1.
Bath salts are Schedule 1. It says, yeah.
This is how you know how much bullshit this is.
Yeah.
Like, to be Schedule 1, a drug has to have no medical applications. No,
yeah, but
like,
what is
no...
morphine? Morphine's a derivative of heroin, right?
Exactly.
So it's like...
So, and I mean, people
they use
have
that
known,
all the time.
People have known for decades. I mean, they've known for hundreds of years that cannabis treats pain. You know what I mean? And then, but like all the newer uses, you know, and CBD and all, you know, all the research that's gone in, but still decades people have known cannabis has medical applications.
To be a schedule,
Go ahead.
Schedule 1 drug. It says the drug or other substances has a high potential for abuse. The drug and other substances has no current accepted medical treatment use in the U.S. It has lack of accepted safety for use under medical supervision.
Yeah, and they had cannabis in that category. Nobody has ever OD'd on that shit. People OD on fucking aspirin. Okay.
Well, you can tell that there's like a biological relationship between humans and cannabis in general because our body has cannabinoid receptors.
Yeah, cannabinoid receptors. Exactly.
So it's like if your body didn't have that, then like obviously, like, you know, like if we do have that, that means that we obviously grew up in a kind of a relationship with the plant, and it was part of our, you know,
daily life.
Yeah, for a long time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, well, I mean, cows used to eat hemp, and there would be CBD in the milk. So it's like when people consumed milk, they were getting CBD through the milk.
Right. And
so
when did cancer start really becoming a rampant problem in human
right around the time that they
society?
Eliminated hemp production.
Exactly. Just about the time that they criminalized cannabis.
Yeah. I think recently they just passed a bill to federally legalize hemp production.
The new farm bill. The new farm bill has a hemp production carrier on the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So. But yeah, Schedule 1 includes heroin, LSD, marijuana, mescaline, MDMA, GHB, ecstasy, psilocybin, synthetic marijuana, methaqualone, and bath salts.
So all the really fun stuff, assholes.
But only one on that list will make you eat somebody's face off.
Right. And it's the one that's not even manufactured as an actual fucking drug.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, which one's the odd man out here?
I have bath salts in the little cutouts, in the little display jars in my fucking bathroom.
Like, I mean, okay, mescaline, peyote. I mean, that's again medicinal use, right? Traditional Native American usage.
Yeah, and not only that, people have been successfully treating all kinds of fucking depression with that stuff for forever. Yeah. Like, it connects people back to their environment.
Well, I think a lot of it is that, like, a lot of depression stems from the fact that people aren't spiritually connected, number one. And then it's like they have no direction or no purpose. So it's like you have no way to, like, direct that, like, sense of suffering in a positive direction, I guess you would say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, the environment produces it too. I mean, it's a response to the environment and, you know, the way life is right now. So I'd say it'd be on the rise.
Which is odd when you think about it, because the standard of living today is higher than it's ever fucking been historically. Maybe
it's a matter of perception, though, I guess. But
yeah, maybe humans just need to fucking have some suck in their lives to really be able to appreciate it and feel alive.
Progress for progress' sake isn't necessarily a good thing.
Right.
You know, just
you form a sense of.
I was just gonna say, I think we need something to push against.
Yeah.
Humans do. You know,
you need like a purpose, like a direction. Yeah.
Right. Or something that's trying to keep you back, or I mean, just something that'll give you some traction in life. Like, if shit's too smooth, I guess people just fucking get depressed. That's why I've been fucking screwing up my whole life. I'm a goddamn genius. It keeps me sick.
Glutton for punishment. No, but seriously, like, I mean, in a sense, like, suffering kind of, I don't know, like, it gives you some, like you said, like, something like to push against, because you don't want that. So it's like you try and improve your situation,
it gives
like,
you perception.
Right.
Well, it gives you a sense of gratitude as well, you know what I mean? Like, for what you do have, if you do see it that way at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was my problem with all those years, actually, because I only saw the negative. I didn't see the positive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all fall victim to that. You know what I mean? You're not the only one.
That's easy to do.
Yeah.
15 years. I fought that war for 15 years. So,
yeah.
all right. How about we go on to how shitty a different government is than ours?
Okay.
Venezuela.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Venezuelans regret gun ban. Quote, a declaration of war against the unarmed population. This is from.
Let's see.
This is actually from Fox News.
Said every communist population ever in history.
But somehow people still want
shouldn't have given up our
and
guns.
they still want gun bans. How the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, you're not making the correlation here, guys.
So this
That's just a random pattern.
For you?
They're
just a random pattern. They just didn't do it right. Yeah.
Well, they're gonna dismiss this article anyway from Fox News.
Oh yeah, faux news. It's from faux news.
Yeah, faux news posted 2 days ago. As Venezuela continues to crumble under the socialist dictatorship of President Nicolas Maduro, some are expressing words of warning and resentment against the six-year-old gun control bill that strips citizens of their weapons. Okay.
Told you so. Told you so. Hate to say, I told you so.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And people wonder why Americans don't want to give up their guns.
Well, some Americans.
Guns would have served as a vital pillar to remaining a free people, or at least able to put up a fight.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
That was that.
A little too late to fucking figure that out.
Said Javier Venegas, 28, a Venezuelan teacher of English, now exiled in Ecuador, told Fox News, quote, the government security forces at the beginning of this debacle knew they had no real opposition to their force. Once things were this bad, it was a clear declaration of war against an unarmed population.
Mm-hmm.
Under the direction of then-President Hugo Chavez, may he burn in hell, Venezuela National Assembly in 2012 enacted the, quote, control of arms, munitions, and disarmament law, with the explicit aim to, quote, disarm all citizens. The law took effect in 2013 with only minimal pushback from some pro-democracy opposition figures. Banned the legal commercial sale of guns and munitions to all except government entities.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So back when that was getting passed, it says it only had some opposition, just probably a little bit of opposition. Well,
okay, hold on. Okay, it says a little bit of opposition, right? Chavez initially ran a months-long amnesty program encouraging Venezuelans to trade their arms for electrical goods. That year, there were only 37 recorded voluntary gun surrenders. While the majority of the seizures, more than 12,500, were by force.
Of course.
Yeah.
In 2014, with Nicolas Maduro at the helm following Chavez's death, but carrying through his socialist Chavista policies, the government invested more than $47 million in enforcing the gun ban, which has since included grandiose displays of public weapon demolitions in the town square.
Who does that remind you of?
Yeah, right.
Are
you listening, America?
Yeah, a former gun store owner inside Venezuela who told Fox News he has now been regulated to only selling fishing supplies since the ban, said he can't sell any type of weaponry, even a slingshot, and underscored that a that even BB ammunition and airsoft guns are only issued to police and military officers.
Airsoft?
The punishment for
Christ.
the
Anything.
The punishment for the illicit carrying or selling a weapon now stands at 20 years behind bars.
Wow. So wait, are they allowed to own knives?
Yeah.
If they're allowed to own knives, then they're better off than fucking England. So,
Yeah.
there's that. But I mean, like, you see, like, the consistent pattern here that, like, all these countries that become disarmed,
right,
the government becomes tyrannical, and people have no way or no means to push back.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily require a violent revolution, but at the same time, if you have those teeth, it's like you know what I mean? They're going to encroach with a sense of hesitancy, I guess you would say. Like, they're going to do it in smaller measures and more incrementally until, whatever, they get the end result that they want anyway, but at least
if the public is armed, then they have to care about public opinion. If the public is disarmed, they don't have to give a fuck about public opinion.
Not at all.
Yeah. Quote, Venezuelans didn't care enough about it. The idea of having the means to protect their home was seen only as needed out in the fields. People never would have believed they needed to defend themselves against the government, Venegas explained. Quote, Venezuelans evolved to always hope that our government would be non-tyrannical, non-violator of human rights, and would always have a good enough control on criminality.
Oh my God.
He said it didn't take long for the wide-eyed public's perception to fall apart. Quote, if guns had been a stronger part of our culture, if there had been a sense of duty for one to protect their individual rights, and as a show of force against government power, and had legal carry been a common thing, it would have made a huge difference. Since 2017, almost 200 pro-democracy protesters in Venezuela, armed mostly with stones, were shot dead by the government forces in brutal retaliation to their call to end the oppressive socialist regime. The once oil-wealthy nation has continued its downward spiral into financial ruin, extreme violence, and mass human rights violations. Estimated 3 million Venezuelans have been forced to flee since 2015. This is the big quote right here. This is the one that I really wanted to bring. Quote,
did we lose him?
Of a criminal government.
Wait, say it again?
Yeah. Venezuelans show the deadly peril when citizens are deprived of the means of resisting the depredations of a criminal government. David Kopel, a policy analysis and research director at the Independent Institute, and adjunct professor of advanced constitutional law at Denver University. Quote, the Venezuelan rulers, like their Cuban masters, apparently viewed citizen possession of arms as a potential danger to a permanent communist monopoly on power.
You think? God. I just can't even.
But they just wanted to give power to the people.
I can't. And that quote where the guy was talking about they wanted to trust that their government would never become tyrannical.
So fucking naive, dude.
So like,
naive.
I'm going to stick my head in this lion's mouth and I'm going to trust that this motherfucker isn't going to bite my head off because he said he won't.
Yeah, even though this lion has a history of eating humans, like...
Right, yeah.
Like every single time.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Well, this time it'll work. It won't eat me,
Right.
Yeah. There were 28,000 murders in Venezuela last year, compared to just under 10,000 in 2012 before the gun ban went into effect.
Yep.
Wow.
That's what happens. But, gun nuts or gun control nuts, they think that we're crazy and they think that we have fucking penis envy issues and like.
Well, the gun control debate boils down to whether the people should have guns or only the state should have guns. You know what I mean? Right. It's not about doing away with guns altogether.
Right. No, it never has been. No. But people don't realize that, or it doesn't click with them.
Nope.
Guns are still going to be there.
There's a complete disconnect.
Right. And
well, I mean, obviously, first of all, criminals are going to get guns no matter fucking what you do. They don't give a fuck about laws.
They can build them.
They never
like
have.
You can build a shitty fucking, I mean, like with some pipes and wood and shit like that. You can build a shitty but functional gun. I mean, like it's not. You're never gonna keep them out of the hands of criminals.
Yeah. A black market in weapons is also thriving. There's an estimated 6 million unregistered firearms circulating in Venezuela, but they remain far from the reach of the average non-criminal Venezuelan. Quote, The black market of weapons is very active, but mostly used by violent criminals.
Yeah.
And who do you think is fucking arming those violent criminals?
A crime? I mean, you make it a crime and only criminals are going to do it.
I bet you it's the intelligence agencies behind it again. Because they're the distribution wing of the fucking military-industrial complex.
Yeah. Well, there's no arguing with that.
I mean, there's like, what, billions and billions
guns,
of dollars to
they
be
run
made.
Drugs.
Yeah,
They
everything.
I mean...
I mean, how do you think they fund their black budget?
Right. But it's not okay if we do it.
No, of course not.
It's totally okay if they do it.
You're not part of the club.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay, so the article says prices vary daily, but an AR-15 rifle goes for around $500, sources said, while handguns sell for about $250. The prices are far beyond the reach of the average Venezuelan. Just looking it up real quick, U.S. dollar to Venezuelan bolivar, $500 US is 124,260,500 Venezuelan bolivars.
Jesus Christ. I was about to say those prices are pretty comparable with what they are in the U.S.
124 million bolivars.
Jesus. There's that commie inflation too.
I wonder like if you went and saw a giraffe from the zoo and traded it for a gun, if it would be like a fair trade instead of like eating it.
Well, there's not many animals in the zoo because they did have to.
No, I know.
Like if that Cortez chick had a country of her own to run, this is what it would fucking look like. You just pay for
Alexandria,
it. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. What was it? $32 trillion over a 10 years period to fucking fund. What was it? Just universal health care and free college?
Yeah, single payer.
How are you going to pay for that? Well, you just pay for it.
Yeah.
So crazy.
No, we didn't mean like, do you have to take money and hand it to another person? Like, that's not the question we're asking here.
Yeah, exactly.
You just pay for
We're not asking how a transaction is done.
Yeah, I didn't know that when you pay for something, you just pay for it. Sorry.
We have to pass it. Figure out how to pay for it later.
Let's dumb it down for you.
No such thing
Where
as
does
scarcity.
The money come from?
Yeah.
How do you find enough money?
You just print more.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I love the memes about her.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so funny.
Especially
Did you see the one with the Cheerios box?
Yes, we're gonna end World Hunger with donut seeds.
There was. I saw one today of her standing in front of the subway, and it said, "I've been waiting on the train for an hour, but it hasn't come."
Yeah, that was great. I saw that too. Oh.
She's such a fucking airhead, man.
We're laughing, but people fucking elected her.
No, I know. That's the scary part.
This is why democracy doesn't fucking work.
You know,
what's his name? De Blasio just called for the end of private property in New York City.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Dude just like went full blown communist and shit.
Well, that's surprise.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Nothing makes more anarchists than the oppression of the state. So,
yeah,
it's true.
That's true.
Just wait. I can't wait for her to figure out that she can't do anything in office.
Yeah.
Like Ron Paul was in office for 20 years. He never stopped a single bill.
Yeah.
I don't
But
think
this
he
bitch
ever.
like watches.
Yeah, I don't think he ever got a bill passed. He never audited the Fed. Like
what's
she's
that
gonna get in the
movie?
office and just fall on her face.
What's that movie? Mr. What's his name goes to Washington.
Mr. Smith.
Yes, yeah. This fucking idiot watches that movie one time and runs for office and gets fucking elected.
Yeah, right.
Who thinks she's gonna
So
go
ridiculous.
make a fucking difference?
So much difference. Huge difference.
Oh, she's a retard.
Yeah. Just the George Carlin quote. Like every time somebody talks about her or posts about her or whatever, every time her name comes up or her face comes up, I think about that George Carlin quote about think how stupid the average American is, and realize that half of them are stupider than that.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's frightening. And they all vote, people. They all vote.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. Like, I've watched videos where they do that, where they go around like men on the street kind of thing, and they go and like question people on like, see how like up to date people are like in terms
current
of
affairs
politics and stuff, and foreign affairs
and
and
even
things like that.
Even like
people are so clueless. It's like frightening.
Oh, the Mark
even the
videos
basics
are fantastic.
Even the basic mechanics of how the U.S. government works, people can't fucking nobody knows. Yeah. I've seen so many of those videos and people just have no clue.
I think Mark Dice actually just did a man on the street video recently where he was going around asking Southern Californians if they were okay with incest or something like that, and they were like, "Yeah, well, as long as it's between two consensual adults, like I don't see a problem." I was like, "What?
Jesus!
What the fuck is wrong with people, dude?"
My
10 years ago, that would have been like, "Holy shit, what the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
My absolute favorite Mark Dice one, and I have the video bookmarked. My favorite Mark Dice one is he's standing out in front of a pawn shop with like a 1 ounce silver bar
with the candy bars,
and he's trying to asking people which one they want, and like every single person that came by took the candy bar.
Yeah, everybody's like, I don't know, what am I going to do with silver?
Right, yeah. People have no idea.
Oh my goodness!
They wouldn't know real money if it slapped them in the face.
Yeah, there was another one where he had like a 10-ounce silver bar, and he was asking somebody if they wanted to buy it. Wanted to buy it for $10 or something like that, and people were like, "Oh no, what am I going to do with silver?"
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of which, I found an awesome fucking quote by Charles de Gaulle. It says, "Betting against gold is the same as betting on governments. He who bets on governments and government's money bets against 6,000 years of recorded human history."
Yeah.
As nice as gold is, like lead and brass and apples and lumber.
Well, you got to diversify. You know what I mean?
I ain't dumb. I'm in California. I ain't
stupid.
You're in enemy territory.
In California.
He's behind enemy lines over there. So am I in New York. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, technically, I'm in a semi-free in some ways Commonwealth, but not free at all in other ways.
Virginia gun control bills that just...
Well, if it says anything, didn't you say that John Wilkes Booth ran through your property?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a historical marker in my yard.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah. So, I mean, after he shot Lincoln.
Well, he hobbled through your property, should we say.
Yeah, with a broken foot. Yeah. You can still see the little cabin down the road a ways where he stayed the night. He tossed some sharecroppers out of their cabin because the main house, my neighborhood is called Claydale, and it used to be the Claydale farm here. And so the main plantation house refused to let him stay there that night. They chased him off. So he walked down the road and tossed some poor black sharecroppers out of their little cabin. and stayed in their place for the night. And then he was caught the next day and shot. So.
Yeah, see, even that was a secret society hit job because he was part of the Knights of the Golden Circle.
He was just an American Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I love that. I still love that meme I posted earlier today. It was like Lincoln said that like a ballot is stronger than a bullet or something like that, and it was like the bottom picture is like John Wilkes Booth. He's like laugh out loud, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it though?
Did I share that other meme on there? Is that the one I shared the meme with the Gandhi quote? Be the change you want to see.
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, but it's
nice.
it's Booth shooting Lincoln in the back of the head, and the quote says, "Be the change you want to see in the world."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I got booted off of Twitter because of that. Because a socialist from fucking Portland said that he was going to run as a write-in candidate, and I said, "Well, if you become president, I'll be your John Wilkes Booth, big guy."
Oh jeez.
And then he reported me.
Oh, that's
like a little quirk.
Are you perma-banned from Twitter now?
Oh yeah, I've been since August.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I got back on there for like 4 days, and then I got banned again. I can never behave myself for very long.
Ridiculous. You're a troublemaker, Dan.
There's too much fun in being truthful.
It is. Yeah. Like I don't understand how people like don't want to be involved in it.
You're a fucking hooligan.
It's hilarious and fun. Yeah. Everybody was like all excited when I was back on Facebook. They're like, my newsfeed is fucking lit up now.
Yeah.
we almost like Andrew and I were joking about that, starting a betting pool, seeing how long you last. Where you catch your first
yeah, right. You should.
Who was it? One of them in meme court was like, Dan's already banned. Like you hadn't even been back for 24 hours.
Oh yeah, Gary.
Gary. And so many people fucking believed it. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, of course. It was like I was back on for like a half an hour and you posted that. It is believable though. I have a track record. My reputation precedes me.
Brett Goff commented. He said, "My grandmother, a few generations back, was Mary Stewart, the first woman hung and executed by the federal government for her role in the conspiracy to kill Lincoln."
Jeez,
that's awesome because my last name is Booth. just saying.
Yeah, and I own land that he ran across. Yep, it's 6 degrees of separation or something.
Cue the X-Files. Yeah, right. Cue the X-Files music.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bands, Pentagon complains about the 1,100 U.S. high schools that ban military recruiters.
Oh no shit!
Aww.
Nice.
The booming economy is creating a major headache for military recruiters charged with signing up qualified applicants for America's all-volunteer force, and a good number of U.S. high schools are making the problem worse, according to the Pentagon leaders. Last week, the Navy Secretary Richard Spencer complained that Congress that local school districts containing more than 1,100 high schools have banned recruiters from campuses, thwarting access to a prime target group, 18-year-olds with a high school degree and no immediate job prospects.
Aww.
This makes it all more frustrating that hundreds of high schools see military recruiters as a danger to high schoolers rather than a help to find a rewarding career in service to the country.
Rewarding is bullshit. I call shenanigans.
Yep. Quote, there's an excess of 1,100 schools and school districts that deny access to uniformed members to recruit on their campuses, Spencer said in testimony before a joint session of the 2 Senate subcommittees. Quote, they're all throughout the country, preponderance up in the Northeast and Northwest. He said, whatever help anyone could do in helping us get the message out would be greatly appreciated.
What message? That you're still fighting a fucking war that you started like almost 20 fucking years ago and you need more fucking cannon fodder? Fuck you.
The Army failed to make its recruiting goal this year for the first time in more than a decade, falling short by 6,500.
Good.
That's damn good.
Other services made their goals, but they're finding it tougher.
Well, you got to understand that a lot of this is an economic draft, and people think, oh, well, the fucking armed services is voluntary. But a lot of people don't have the fucking option, especially if they come from a poverty-stricken area, like, black inner cities. Those kids see that as an opportunity to get out of their situation. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's actually
so they always.
That's actually the next paragraph.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like they reap on that like economic factor, and like, you know what I mean? Like they like suck those people in with image of a better life and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh yeah, all you got to do is go to college and whatnot. We'll pay for it, and you won't have to see any battle or anything. Next thing you know, they're over in fucking Iraq or.
Right, and how many of them have any other opportunity to have college paid for?
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yep. There's only so many sports.
Well, very few.
Right. So go ahead, Jason. Next paragraph.
Quote, anytime you have an unemployment rate below 4.1%, historically, trouble looms on the horizon for both recruiting and retention, said Admiral William Morin, the Vice Chief of Naval Operations at the same hearing. Quote, it's at about 3.8%, I think, now, so we are expecting this market to get more difficult than easier.
What does that tell you? I mean, like...
That we are
like American, American people, what does that tell you? Like there's something inside, even these people who are, nationalistic and patriotic and all that shit, something inside of people knows not signing up for the military is the preferable option given two viable options.
Because even those people are tired of war.
Yeah, but I mean, like, nobody wants to fucking leave their family and, I mean, it's given a better alternative, people will not join the military. It is a last fucking resort. And that should tell you something.
Well, I mean, it's quite obvious that really, what could you say is within the American people's interests other than defense of their own country from being invaded? But in terms of power projection, it doesn't benefit the average person whatsoever.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and with the age of the internet, I think a lot of people are catching on to that, and they're understanding that we're not over there for the reasons that they state. It's an open-ended war because it's a war on fucking terror. There's not an actual enemy
because there's
defined.
Big fucking money.
You know what I mean? It's more of a slogan than anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The U.S. just
people are catching on to that
from Syria.
Yeah.
Like they're settling. Like the U.S. military is settling in Syria for the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But there's big money.
That's not including like the 17 years in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we also got we're also there right now. Somalia, Central Africa, all over the Middle East. I mean,
like how long we've been in Afghanistan, you can fit like 2 world wars and a Korean war inside of how long we fucking been in Afghanistan.
That time frame, yeah, absolutely.
There are kids joining the military now that are going to be sent to Afghanistan that were born while their parents were on tour in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous, man.
Like there's kids that are going to serve at the same FOBs that their parents did.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That right there, like that stat alone, that statement is disgusting.
Yeah. This war is older than Micah.
Uh-huh.
Well, see, we had a lot of recruiting in the high school that I went to, and my dad was always like fucking, because he was a vet, and he'd been through the shit and he'd seen it firsthand. So he was like, I don't ever want to see you come home with like shit from the military saying that you're signing up. Like, he's like, obviously that's your own decision to make. He's like, but I wouldn't support it.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, damn.
I don't recommend it.
He was adamant about me, like, because he didn't want to have to see me go through what he went through and like fucking become like damaged fucking individual because of it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he knew that it wasn't because of the reasons that they tell people.
No, hell no. And you know what kills
And by the
me?
time I graduated the June right before 9/11 happened. So I would have been like prime candidate for joining the military.
Yeah. I was in the military, pregnant with Micah when 9/11 happened.
My little brother was in the process of joining the Marines to do electrical engineering or something like that. And then 9/11 happened, and then the recruiter said, "Oh no, you're going in as a grunt," and my brother said, "Oh no, fuck you," and walked away.
Right. Yeah, I was in my last week or two of A school in Pensacola. I was just finishing.
Yeah, they really whipped up a fervor amongst the American people with that shit, man.
Yeah.
People were just like, they were so blind with rage. They were just like, let's fucking kill whoever. Just point me in a direction.
And here we are, 17 years later, and people still spout the fucking propaganda reasons that were over there. People still believe that shit. Like,
yeah, because they don't want to fucking accept they've been lied to.
Yeah, but
Jesus fucking Christ. But it's what the mainstream. It's what the mainstream media. It's what the government. It's what the powers that be. I mean, it's reiteration of the same propaganda, but it's still effective because
people spend 12 of their most formative years being taught to respect this monolithic authority.
Like you don't, and
I don't know where it failed us then.
You don't see any pushback. You don't see any pushback against the Patriot Act anymore.
Yeah, no. I know.
Isn't
there like something like 11% of the population, or maybe it's 1%, I don't know, that whose mind works in such a way that this, like, the indoctrination just doesn't stick permanently?
I would imagine so. Like, some people are like immune to it.
Yeah, like there was some study or something of people that just like their mind doesn't work the same way that most people's does.
Yeah,
I think we're of that group.
Yeah, that's what I was. You were like, why didn't it work on us?
Yeah, I think what it is there's like 6 different ways that people learn, or six big ways that people learn, and like 90% of the population falls into like 1 or 2 of them. And then like the rest of us are in a different categories on how we learn. So the school system, the indoctrination programs, is geared towards mass, towards the mass of them. So if they can gear the indoctrination propaganda toward 90% and lose 10, that's still a pretty efficient program.
Right. No, and it is. But there was some study that I saw, I swear, and they were talking about how some people have like almost like a psychological immunity to authority, or a psychological like resistance to being told what to think and being conditioned.
I believe it.
I've always been that way.
Yeah. There's a certain percentage of the population that just can't take things on faith. You know what I mean? Just because someone fucking told them to, they just can't.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's probably why it didn't work on us.
I'm thinking so. I mean, it's usually the ones that are in school that are like the really smart ones, but just don't comply with what the fucking
right. Don't turn in their homework. The ones the teachers are always saying you have so much potential, but you don't do the work.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, me too.
Like my fucking guidance counselor with me, and one, she was like, "You could have been like top 5 of your class. Like, what are you doing with yourself?" And I'm like, "Well,
right.
I'm like, this doesn't like define who I am."
Yeah. Yeah, and I was just like, this is fucking stupid. I hate busy work. I refuse to do it just on principle alone. I fucking hate busy work.
Yeah, I was that guy. Like, I hated school. I absolutely despised school.
I fucking hated it.
I have next to no good memories from high school. I am not in contact with anybody that I went to school with.
I have to go to my 20th reunion this summer.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh,
I haven't got invited to any of them. So that tells you that right there. But like, I hated it. I hated sitting in that classroom. I hated staring up at the teachers. I hated the books at whatever. But I failed all the classwork. I never did the homework.
Yeah.
And I would come in for the test, for the end of the week test or the midterms and like that, and aced them.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely
Me too.
aced the test. And like I got accused of cheating.
They would
all
get
the
pissed
time.
about that shit too.
Yeah.
They
right?
accused me
You
of
can't
cheating all
just
the
get
time.
through on your test scores. Well, I think I fucking can. I'm getting a C average, so
Exactly. That was it to a fucking T, dude.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, if you know everything, why don't you just do the work? And I'd be like, well, that'd be kind of redundant because if I already know it, then why the fuck am I
That's a
doing
good
it to
word
learn
for
it?
it.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's just
like,
all it shows is that I can repeat the programming is all.
Exactly. Why don't you just do the work? Because I fucking know it. What's the point? Yeah, I know it. I just took this test now. You know that I know it. So fucking get over it.
My teacher.
I jumped through your hoop. I played your game.
Yeah.
my 10th grade history teacher, Miss Holmes. She actually called my dad one time and accused me of cheating because like she had given us an essay to write on the topic. I don't remember the specific topic. And I came in at lunchtime on the day that it was due, and in 20 minutes wrote a full page essay and got a B+ on it. And she was so angry that she called my dad. She was so angry that she called my dad and complained to my dad.
Yes.
That I wasn't doing my potential and this and that.
You didn't pay your dues, Jason.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, okay, so this semester you guys want me to do all this fucking bullshit. But look, you're my English teacher, but I did this one paper for social studies and it was like 25 fucking pages long. So you can look at that and realize that I know all the shit you're teaching me this year. Just fucking talk to him. Like, why do I have to keep repeating the same shit class to class to class to class? Come on.
Because, like, I hated it. It was, I wasn't buying it. It was no fun. I didn't agree with anything. And I just,
yeah,
I didn't buy into it. I didn't buy into the indoctrination. Like, it's the same.
They'd be like, we can't flog you hard enough to get you to obey.
Yeah.
They tried. They kept giving me Saturday school. Did you guys have Saturday school out there?
Oh man.
Yeah.
We would get detention if you didn't go to detention, then you were supposed to come in on Saturday and for like 6 hours.
Yeah. I mean, in public schools, like the embodiment of that saying that, you know, beatings will continue until morale improves.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, but they the teachers kept sending me to the office because I wouldn't do my classwork.
Yeah.
Right? And then the principal's like, "Why don't you want to do your classwork?" My classwork is stupid. I don't want to do it. So then he'd give me detention. I wouldn't show up for detention, and he'd give me Saturday school, and I wouldn't show up for Saturday school, and I never got suspended. He tried to give me Saturday school for like 6 weeks in a row, and I never showed up for it.
And you know what? I turned in just enough to like pass my classes because I played sports. And I wanted to play sports. And if your grades drop below a certain GPA, then you can't fucking play sports.
Yeah.
That was literally the only reason that I fucking turned anything in high school.
Yeah, I dropped out at like 16 and a half to work full time. I started working 40 hours a week. And then when I turned 18...
I considered bringing up my GPA because I wanted to play basketball. But...
Well, then when I turned 18, I went and took the GED test without any prep, and scored like 85% on it, and that was enough to actually get my diploma. So I have a GED and a diploma.
Right. Mike is supposed to be studying for his GED test, so.
Yeah, so not buying into the government program.
Yeah.
But look at us now, guys. We got 3 brilliant people on a fucking podcast. You know what I mean?
On podcast episode number 50.
Hell yeah. 2 years. And I'm about to self-publish my first published work.
Nice.
Ever.
Yo, Dan
Thanks, English teacher.
What's that, Jason?
I said Dan needs to read that. He'd get a lot out of it.
Oh, yeah.
He'd really dig it.
Yeah. it's what right now it's called Think for Yourself, and it's a critical thinking workbook for ages 12 and up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like a regular workbook because there's no right or wrong answers. It's just, it's kind of like introduction to the basics, some of the
Yep.
philosophies and the different types of reasoning and first principles and logical fallacies and then like the steps of the process, which are based on deductive reasoning,
Yep.
which is real similar to the scientific process, and then like practice room, and there's room for notes after each section, so they're supposed to look up the concepts from that section and give their impressions and get more information on it, write down whatever they find helpful, stuff like that. So
Yep.
it's just because I had done this as a homeschooling. I homeschooled Caleb on this for like 2 weeks. We put aside everything else, all the other subjects, and we rocked on like critical thinking hard for like 2 weeks. And then I was like, I already fucking did all that work. I'm gonna need it again for Declan someday. So I'm just gonna type this shit up. And then I was like, well, if I'm gonna type it up, I might as well fucking publish it in case anybody else wants to use it for their kids. So
yeah, that's smart.
Yeah,
it's a great read. Yeah,
it's short. I mean, like the reading part. There's not a lot. It is the basics.
18 pages, something like that.
Like 20, yeah, something like that. Of actual reading, and a lot of it is there's a lot of room
but
for
with people's
notes
short attention span these days, you know what I mean? It's ideal.
Right. And then most of the pages in the book are just like the journal part. There's
Yep.
blanks of like with the steps on them, but then blank spaces, so they can work through problems on there. There's a whole bunch of those, and then just a section for writing down resources that they come across that they want to remember to for in the future. And like I would think somebody could put like the MIT courses and the Khan Academy and like URLs and shit like that in there, but I don't know. Who knows? If nobody wants it, nobody wants it.
It was a good thing, good exercise either way.
Yeah. So,
all right, how about on this some more propaganda?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. Ada County paramedics debut $300,000 armored ambulance.
Oh Christ! I've never seen that article.
Yeah, Dan and I were laughing about this one a couple days ago.
Get to
I
the
haven't
hospital.
seen any of these articles really because I've been doing a Facebook detox.
Yeah. Ada County. You know where Ada County is, Jerica?
Where? What?
Ada County. ADA County.
In Idaho?
Boise, Idaho. 400,000 people in the whole county. I looked up the stats the other day. Like last year there were 2 murders. The year before that there was 1. And it's like,
why does Idaho need a fucking armored?
It's like 2, 1, 3, 0, 1, 2 as you like go down the list. So like in the last 10 years, there's like 15.
Why does Idaho need an armored ambulance? No, wait. I know what happened. This happens to me on Amazon all the time. They put the wrong fucking one in their cart, and then they forgot to change it out for the one. And then they hit order. They completed their order.
This is our good
1099.
This is our good friend, the 1099 program. So, Ada County paramedics unveiled a brand new vehicle to help the team in dangerous situations. A custom-made armored ambulance. The ambulance
situations like
just
bear attacks.
They actually bring up something you're gonna laugh so hard. The ambulance, plated in black bulletproof metal with the words "rescue" on the side, made its debut Monday after Chris Shandera of the Ada County Paramedics Tactical Medical Team filled out the grant paperwork necessary to release the vehicle more than a year ago. The $312,000 ambulance, delivered by the Department of Homeland Security, will accompany the Ada County Paramedics Tactical Medical Team when they join SWAT teams in the field.
Back up. The the paramedic tactical
medical team.
Yeah, in case they have to raid anybody and they shoot them and they gotta put them in the hospital. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
It will offer paramedics a safe place to render aid to those injured, other than the claustrophobic confines of the SWAT vehicles themselves.
Yeah, everybody knows Idaho's a rough neighborhood.
It also gives them a place to store more medical equipment. Okay, this is the paragraph that okay. Paramedics will now be able to bring oxygen with them on calls, something they couldn't do before for the fear of exploding if struck by gunfire. Now that they keep it safely stored in the back of their ambulance.
What the fuck?
Oh,
you know what?
God.
Okay, I got a theory about this. That's the excuse that they used to buy this thing, so they could tote around oxygen tanks. But do you guys know what paramedics do with IV bags and oxygen and shit when they're not at work? Do you guys know? Does everybody know what paramedics do with IVs and shit when they're not at work?
Probably get high on it.
No, they hook themselves up to it before they start drinking, so they can get fucked up and have no hangover the next day.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So, like, that's their excuse. Fucking party supplies. But they used it as an excuse.
They're gonna have lights up in that bitch.
So they could have their fucking party supplies.
You're gonna have like a mirror ball and shit, the whole nine. I can see him now, fucking like SWAT raiding somebody's house and like carrying a pregnant woman out and like putting her in the back and
But yeah,
it's like 90 down the highway.
It's a Bearcat. That's what it is.
Gear.
It's a Bearcat with rescue written on the side.
Jesus.
So ridiculous, dude.
Fucking 1099 program like that. We need to take over that little town. What's that little town in South Oregon that's for sale? We take over that town. We can have a sheriff. Then we get 1099.
Yeah. I'm gonna get me some fucking ATVs. I'm gonna get me some fucking amphibious shit. I'm gonna get me some fucking tactical gear. A tank. I want a tank.
Some rocket launchers.
Grenade launchers. You need some grenade launchers for those riding bears.
And it'll all be legit and totally fucking
armored ambulance. Like we were afraid to carry oxygen for the bullets that might fly through and blow everything up. They've had like 18 murders in 10 years.
Yeah.
Chicago, the murder capital of the United States, don't have armored vehicles, don't have armored ambulances.
And they carry oxygen.
New York City doesn't have armored ambulances.
Yeah.
Miami, New Orleans, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, Seattle.
But Jason, we're talking about
armored vehicles, don't have armored ambulances.
Jason,
Ada County, Idaho.
We're talking about the hard streets of Boise now, boy.
Look,
yeah, right.
That's a whole different level.
Potato town.
That's like being in Fallujah.
Does Boise even have a Martin Luther King Boulevard?
Probably not.
It might be the only town. It might be the only city in the U.S. that doesn't.
Right. That's how you know there's no ghetto then.
Right. The county. You
gotta worry about shit.
The county is only 400,000 people. Like Boise, Idaho. Boise itself is like 240,000.
Yeah, I've been there. Boise is not a huge city, right?
Ada County has less than half the population of my county. My county does not have an armored ambulance.
Right.
Not that I want one.
Yeah, but doesn't not the post office, but actually the post office might. I mean, some places, but I know like Social Security has like armed security. Like a whole bunch of places.
Oh,
like
dude,
the EPA,
they have around here, like the Social Security and the welfare office. They have like some serious buds. And then they have the 4-inch thick bullet-resistant glass.
Well, I mean, like under the Obama administration, I know they armed like a lot of those agencies.
Yeah, he did more to build that standing, like occupying army.
1099.
Yeah.
Weapons of war do not belong on the streets.
Yeah, well, they only say that when they're talking about our weapons of war, not theirs.
Weapons of war do not belong on the streets. Militarized police, blah, 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 blah. Obama deported more people than Trump has.
But who is like the ones posturing like they're at war with with the people? You know what I mean? Like, the police forces are
it's the cops.
What's the saying?
Exactly.
To look who's expecting trouble, or to see who is expecting trouble. Look who came to the protest dressed for the riot.
Exactly.
I butchered the shit out of that quote, but
no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Though.
To figure out who's looking for trouble.
Yeah, the police always show up armored to the teeth, right? They got the riot gear on, or in my case, my neighborhood, they come out of the cars with the M4s already in their hands.
Jesus.
No, I mean, they're trained to not believe people. They're trained to not trust people. No, they're hammers.
They're trained to view.
Everybody's a nail. Everybody's a nail in their eyes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that was like one of the big things after 9/11 and the installation of the Patriot Act was it was like kind of converted. Well, I mean, it did convert the United States into a police state and fucking made it change the training to have the police view the people as like the enemy, because anybody could be a potential terrorist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you remember,
that's the mindset they got them into, and then it's like, well, if you push people and like you're the ones that look like the terrorists, like eventually people are going to push back against that, and then you can be like, oh, well, they're acting like terrorists.
That's a classical.
We provoke them.
It's a classical abuser tactic, projection. We're the terrorists because we won't put up with their fucking abuse. That's classic.
And they play the victim once people lash back.
Exactly. It's gaslighting, and it's projection, and it's
not the politicians, it's not the IRS, it's not the bureaucrats that are rolling around in armored vehicles.
Right. Yep.
But people still have blue line stickers on their cars.
Yeah, it's the people who are hired by them, the people who follow their orders and initiated aggression against innocent fucking people, against non-violent, peaceful people. I mean, only individuals act. We're all responsible for our own actions. So you can say just doing my job.
But I mean, like, how many times do people have to get smacked in the face before they just say, "I've fucking had enough," and then it's off to the races. You know what I mean?
I know, because people don't understand that only individuals act, and there is no such thing as society. You can't defend something that doesn't fucking exist. Society's just a collection of individuals.
The unarmed populace of France is rioting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's
wearing symbols of their own oppression.
Several countries are having copycat protests right now. Mm-hmm. And in the U.S., they're saying, "Oh, back the blue."
Yeah.
Vote harder. It's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, things reached critical mass there for people before they did here, or before they have here. I mean, that people in the U.S. aren't at critical mass. They're not at their fucking limits of their ability to put up with it. Yeah.
Well, we have to figure we're a much larger landmass.
Yeah.
And the immigration
and our government, as much as we bitch about it, it does get less done than European governments do. I'm not saying getting things done is a good thing. I'm just saying European governments seem to move swiftly because they're small countries.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're more homogenous, like ideologically, and they have less resistance for things like fucking Merkel and her stupid bullshit, about immigration and whatever. I mean, like, shit happens.
Well, that's one of the main sticking points with a lot of the people
Europe.
Across Europe. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the main sticking points for a lot of the people in terms of like being fed up with it, because like if you like just saw like the downward, the regression of Paris essentially over the past 10 years. Like, it was a
And
nice city, and now
Berlin
it's like,
and
yeah, there's like people like sleeping in the middle of the streets and like, like tent cities, essentially like in the middle of the streets in Paris. So it's like people are like seeing that shit and they're like, okay, this used to be like nice. Now it's like a
and
total
crime has
shithole.
gone up everywhere, assaults
Yeah.
and things like that.
Seattle is the
So I
same
mean, people
way.
are gonna get fed up with that eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So.
All right, now that I'm in the mood.
Okay.
Jury finds man facing jail after playing "Fuck the Police" not guilty. A man facing jail time for blasting the song "Fuck the Police" and allegedly violating Pontiac's noise ordinance was found not guilty by a jury.
Noise ordinance.
Yeah, that person on the jury said, "Why am I here? This is a waste of my time. You know that type of deal, knowing that I am innocent." Okay. Webb faced a $500 fine and 93 days in jail after playing NWA's "Fuck the Police" right next to an Oakland County Sheriff's deputy conducting a traffic stop on someone else.
Not all heroes
awesome.
wear capes, people. Not all heroes
That's just
wear
as good as the guy that fucking made that middle finger to fucking face.
Yeah, we're gonna get to him. I
town
think.
board building or whatever.
Yeah. Quote: "You got people standing out here, and you're playing fuck the police because I'm sitting right here, right? I don't care if it's any other rap song. You're dropping the F-bomb and cursing and swearing, and nobody wants to hear that." The officer said.
Oh, bullshit. Bullshit.
The police officer's reasoning was that he said the music was vulgar, and part of the vulgarity was the use of the F word. But we had it on video that the first man the officer had pulled over, the officer had dropped F-bombs with him. So it's okay for the man to hear the F word, but not other people? Said Nicholas Somberg, who represented Webb in court. Webb chose not to pay the fine for allegedly violating the noise ordinance and instead chose to take the case to court.
Good for him.
To trial. The jury took all of 9 minutes to come back with a not guilty verdict.
Yeah.
Of course.
Quote, "It's really sad how much money is spent on finding something that was a loss from the beginning. It's not like this was close. I mean, you look at it, at any prosecutor or lawyer who understands the law and people's rights should have dismissed this." Somebody said.
The guy was only ever charged because he hurt the fucking cop's feelings or pissed him off. Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of fucking fragile little sissies wearing those uniforms these days, people.
A similar thing. I don't know if I'm supposed
God, it's like I open my mouth and Slinky comes out, Like,
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but a friend of mine on Facebook, I'm not going to drop his name, he was arrested last night, actually, for flipping off a cop. He flipped off a cop, which, as we know, is protected speech.
It is. Didn't it go to the...
That went all the way to
the Supreme Court?
I think that went all the way to SCOTUS, yeah. But he flipped off a cop and was arrested and booked for resisting arrest.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is called begging the question, you assholes.
and they did not read him his rights.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they don't give a fuck about that.
Because
I don't think they've ever read me my rights.
all because he flipped them off and hurt their feels.
He disrespected them.
Disrespected them. And,
you disrespected my authority.
He's already talking to a lawyer about the lawsuit. So.
Yeah, well,
he'll get
fucking
paid.
nails their asses to the wall.
He'll get paid for that one.
Yeah.
Good. I hope he does.
Yeah. Although it's never the cops that pay the fucking settlements, it's the taxpayers.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Well, no. Hold on. Not even most of it. A lot of it is from taxpayers.
And even if the cops did.
Well, obviously it's from taxpayers, but they do have. There's actually it's a freaking billion-dollar industry, but there are companies that sell.
Like insurance.
Like an insurance, we've talked about it before on the show. I'm pretty sure that have sell insurance policies to police, where police abuse or whatever, and they pay. They pay off the claim, and the police pay essentially like an insurance policy.
Huh.
But check this out. Even if the cop did pay directly, it's still taxpayer money.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
True.
You know what I mean? So you're like
True.
fucked anyway.
Yeah.
But at least it's getting taken back from him and going to a fucking taxpayer.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that. At
Ron,
least to be
Ron
proper
had that son of a
redistribution.
Right.
All right, I got one. I don't know if Jerica saw this one because she's on Facebook hiatus, but I know Dan commented on it when I posted it. Oh, you're gonna love this one, Jerica. Feds fined business $60,000 for selling non-prescription contact lenses without a prescription.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Like color changing ones, the ones that don't.
Yeah, like the little picture. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little Guy Fawkes mask.
Oh.
Yeah, like the Halloween ones, the decorative contact lenses. Yeah.
Right.
In
Never saw that one coming.
Yeah, a California-based online retailer has been ordered to
California. What? Not California.
Ordered to pay $60,000 for selling non-corrective, purely cosmetic contact lenses without first obtaining prescriptions for the non-prescription product.
What the fuck?
Government regulation run amok.
Oh my god. No, this isn't even government regulation. This is like government enforcers run amok. Like they don't even know what they're supposed to be enforcing.
This is unelected bureaucrats.
It's like you did a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did a thing, and that I don't know if you're allowed to do that. So you're in fucking trouble.
Yeah.
Exactly. Until we figure it out.
Yeah,
yeah, you figure it
out. Pay this fine until you know what you've done wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Federal Trade Commission says Lawrence Duskin repeatedly violated the agency's contact lens rule, which stipulates that retailers can sell contact lenses only after obtaining a copy of a valid prescription or otherwise verifying the consumer's prescription with the physician who issued it.
When did the people vote on that? What's this rule?
The
you know
rule,
what I mean? Like,
the rule applies even to non-corrective lenses, like the ones Duskin has been selling through a variety of online costume shops since at least 2014.
It's not a fucking law, though. Okay, so they're going to take their own rules that aren't laws and prosecute them in a court of law if the person fights this? Like, how does that make any sense?
It's going to get better. The commission initially fined Duskin $575,000.
Holy fuck.
The largest fine ever issued for a violation of the contact rules law, before suspending all but $60,000 of the penalty, conditioned on Duskin complying with a variety of record-keeping and administrative requirements.
Jesus.
It's pretty easy to understand why Duskin wasn't verifying the customer's prescription. You wouldn't expect to have to check for a prescription before selling a pair of goofy costume glasses or Quidditch goggles for Harry Potter cosplay.
You know what? Like, these people need to go to Hollywood, because I know for a fact that in Pirates of the Caribbean, they put big whole eyeball contacts on Barbossa to make his eyes look that yellow. They're in Hollywood. They're fucking breaking that rule right and left.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Alyssa Bernstein, an attorney with the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, says the strict rules are necessary because contact lenses are more intrusive than a pair of glasses. Quote, it's a medical device that's regulated by the FDA and something that goes directly onto your eye, Bernstein tells Reason Magazine. Getting the wrong size contact can be a serious health risk.
You know what? I have things in my fucking nightstand drawer that are even more intrusive than that. Are you going to come fucking tell me that I can't buy those?
Alabama actually has a law against that.
I know.
Hello. Yeah, but you can fuck your cousin, so it's cool.
Yeah. I don't think those qualify as medical devices, though. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, there are potential risks with sticking a tiny piece of plastic onto the front of your eyeball, These risks should be pretty obvious to anyone who is voluntarily buying novelty contact lenses, and those consumers have a pretty good incentive to make sure they
And
are
even
getting
if
just
they
the right
don't, it's
size.
their fucking eyeballs, and they can make themselves blind if they want. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Requiring a prescription just doesn't make much
Just looking out for the
sense.
greater good.
Not least because it's unclear how you go about getting the prescription for a contact lens that your vision is fine to begin with. And if you can buy gold and diamond, and if you can buy a gold and diamond encrusted grill for your teeth, also an FDA regulated medical device, by the way, one that comes with a list of potential health risks without needing a prescription from a dentist, it seems like the standard should apply here also.
Yeah. But isn't California?
Here's a prescription that says you're allowed to get this thing.
California and New York are like the meccas of unnecessary medical procedures. That
Yeah, we really are. Yeah.
Oh.
So
they're just the fucking nexus of unnecessary things in general.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
I mean, usually it starts out in California and then moves over to the East Coast.
Right. Right. Well,
The fuckers
New York
are like
is
the bearer of bad ideas.
Hey, I don't have to get a permit to buy a firearm, so there's that. So.
What's that?
That's true.
I'm not as bad as New Jersey. I don't have to get a permit to buy a firearm.
Oh,
I mean, I still have to go through background check and all that, but I don't have to get a permit.
I don't have.
You not for rifles though, right?
Yeah. Well, I still have to go background check for everything, and there's a 10-day waiting period.
Really?
There's no waiting period here.
And
I don't think you have to go through a background check and all that for a rifle here.
And I can only buy one pistol every 30 days.
Like, we just go to, like, Kevin will, like, trot off to, used to be Gander Mountain, but there's a guns and ammo place over here in our county. He could just trot down there and come home with a gun. I mean, it's pretty easy here in Virginia.
And the gun doesn't go and, like, sneak out in the middle of the night and kill anybody?
I mean, we've never caught them doing it, so I don't know.
Good.
Did your parents ever catch you sneaking out?
No.
No, this is true.
This is true.
You got a point there, my man.
Yeah.
It's like mass murder is just taking place without your knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably, you guys, I think our guns are all getting together and carpooling
like
Chicago
Toy Story
every weekend.
No, what you really need to be careful. You need to start paying attention to your guns, and when you start seeing like small little handguns running around with them, then you know they're out fornicating and making them
right.
We should make like a parody of like you know, like a
Toy Story
gun grabber parody of exactly.
Holy shit.
Gun story.
Gun story.
They'll like sneak out in the middle of the night and cause like mass shootings and shit.
Yeah, but then if they think that you're looking at them, they'll just lay down.
Yeah,
and
they
do
stop.
Nothing. Yeah, they stop.
Exactly.
You can't see them. You just have to believe. You have to have that childlike belief in your heart that these guns are out fucking shooting people all by themselves.
And at the end of the movie, they all turn themselves into the police.
Right. Oh, God.
But they don't ever show what the police guns do.
Right.
There's just dead dogs laying everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's like the horror sequel.
Right.
Police guns.
When police guns go bad.
Bad guns. What you gonna do? Police guns can have their own cop show on TV.
Suspect's pulling out a cell phone. Blast him.
Yeah. Subject wagged his tail. Sign of aggression.
Guns sitting around a campfire telling horror stories about bullet buttons.
Yeah. Bump stock bans and fucking buybacks and shit like that.
So. Speaking of which, nobody fucking turning their bump stocks and nobody turning their
ammo.
Yeah, wasn't that
nobody
New Jersey?
registered their mags. Yeah, nobody registered their mags over 10 rounds, and nobody turned in their bump stocks in Jersey, and they were like, "Oh my God, people didn't comply."
And Jersey's so commie, but
I'm
I mean,
startled.
it's like full
Yeah,
of like mafia, isn't it? Did you
kinda.
really?
Yeah, Italians and
Yeah,
Jews, and then like the northern
yeah,
part, and then like down towards like the southern part, it's more like rural. It's
yeah.
not like so like Jersey Shore.
Right. Well, I've been down in southern Jersey, for like Cowtown and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Like they have
know,
the Pine Barrens down there. It's like pretty fucking rural.
yeah, yeah. But I've never been in northern Jersey. Well,
It's
I
not
don't
much
know.
different than northern or than southern New York. I mean,
I
it's a
went to
lot of people
Atlantic City
that
and
like
stuff.
have like money from working in the city and whatnot, and they just don't want to pay the rent of the city, so they live in like northern Jersey and shit like that.
Right. I mean, not too different than our situation here. Kevin works in Washington, D.C., but I
Yeah,
mean, we don't fucking want to live there.
Hell no.
Holy
yeah, no,
shit.
No,
fuck no.
there's a large population here that will work in the
San
ski
Francisco.
resorts and Truckee and Sacramento, but they live
Mhm.
Yeah,
in Reno. But they live in Reno.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So Kevin commutes like an hour and a half each direction every day.
But it's worth
Hour,
it not to have to live there.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's absolutely worth it. Like
Yeah.
my kids will be 19 soon. I'm thinking about going and living under a bridge in Reno just to
Yeah,
get out of, just to get out of California.
Come live in my
Fucking
basement,
Frank Reynolds
Jason.
style.
Jason, come live in my basement. You can open carry in Virginia.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
that's enticing.
Yeah.
How anarchists help Californian fire refugees in a Walmart parking lot.
Lay it on us.
You know, they say mutual aid is a better model for providing for aid than traditional top down charity work.
Yeah. Well, it's not traditional. Mutual aid societies have been around forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mutual aid is more traditional than top down charity, is all I'm saying.
Well, if anything, they've tried to thwart that kind of thing,
Oh,
through
definitely.
laws and stuff, because they don't want people like coming together and like being I say
Right.
Feeding homeless.
dependent on each other, but like helping each other out. They try to like discourage
Yeah.
that kind of thing
They can't let
and
us
have
build a
people
sense
go
of community
through the
because then what
system.
the fuck do we need them for?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So, yeah, before the fire, the Walmart parking lot in Chico, California, was already a natural place for people to seek a kind of refuge if they didn't have any other places to stay. According to Steve Breedlove, a local anarchist activist, the superstore turned a blind eye when people passing through town parked overnight and slept in their cars. So when the campfire swept through the region, utterly destroying the town of Paradise and displacing over 50,000 people, it was natural that some hundred evacuees came to the parking lot to set up tents, and it was natural for Walmart to initially encourage them. Some started calling it Camp Wallywood.
Hmm.
Yeah, I used to live in the area. My brother lives in Chico. My daughter was actually at college nearby when the fire started. Um, I have been to Paradise thousands of times. It's a beautiful town. It's absolutely destroyed, but so yeah, I have connections to it. Um, as for the people in the lot, worked to adjust to the sudden change in circumstances. They were helped by, among other groups, a loose organization called North Valley Mutual Aid. Based on the principles of solidarity, not charity, mutual aid is a process of providing assistance to communities by working with and supporting them based on their needs rather than from a top down hierarchical approach to aid.
Right.
The
Yeah.
principle meant that when a Paradise evacuee named Tammy expressed a need for community space, NVMA's Cleanup and Rebuild Working Group helped build one in the parking lot. Two large beige tents set up side by side with pillows, chairs, books, and some other items inside to make up communal space. A cardboard sign that is taped outside reading "Come Get Warm." For Tammy, this was important for recovering from the collective trauma of the fire. Quote, "We all heal in the community together, and when NVMA came out and built this community space, I know they get it because community is how we heal." said in a video filmed by NVMA, quote, "Community is how we get everything done."
Yeah.
And I agree completely. I was saying the paradise we mentioned at the beginning. It's a small, close knit group, close knit town. I mean, the town itself is like, I want to say it's like 45,000 people, and mostly retirees, disabled, a lot of low income people, a lot of people that don't like the urban life, and it's up on the hill. It's like, I think like 2,800 feet. Gets some snow, but not a lot. And it is a really close knit town. Like nobody goes hungry in that town. Nobody goes without in that town. If you need something, or there's some sort of community event like the little league. The little league always gets sponsored. They always get more than they need. The high school, like, random people come to the high school football games and the high school basketball games and baseball games. It's a really, really strong community, and
Mm-hmm.
and it was destroyed. Like, the entire town was destroyed. Like, all but a few neighborhoods of the town they're gone.
Right.
So crazy.
And the community is how this city and this area is going to come back together. And being able to see anarchists, even if they are not traditional capitalists, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic to see people like
I
this
always
group
love to
existing
see
up there.
people take initiative and help others without anybody telling them they have to. And I especially love it when they do it despite people telling them they can't. You know what I mean? Like, I love to see people just rolling up their sleeves and fucking helping other people just because it's the right thing to do.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, anarchist or not, it's just like kind of part of humanity that I think we've lost along the way, because I don't know, it just seems to be that there's this like disconnect where everybody's so atomized and there's like no more like sense of community anymore. That, like,
I think that's a big part of what
back,
anarchists are fighting against, like what we're
no,
trying
I
to.
know,
Yeah, because that's the only way that you can be free is if you don't need government for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to not need government, you have to do the shit that government does now, which is, the things that people value, especially, which is helping others.
Yeah.
One of the things that sedition, subversion, sabotage, field man number one, one of the things that Ben Stone really touts is that the government will exist as long as there's a market demand for government services.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
If we can create alternatives to government services, and people see those and people like those, people start using those, it weakens the need for the government services.
Right. Well, the hardest part about that is that they've criminalized.
Yeah,
exactly.
In
so many cases,
they've
criminalized
competition.
Because
they know that. Yeah.
Right.
Because they know that if somebody offers a fucking non-coercive alternative, that people are going to fucking flock to that instead of fucking have a gun pointed at their head and being like, okay, well, this is how it's going to be. You know what I mean?
Yep. And not only just because of coercion, a lot of people don't even think of that. Like, for a lot of people, a lot of consumers of services and goods, it doesn't even cross their fucking mind that to be pissed that they're being forced to use this one single monopolized provider. But the government knows it can't compete with private market versions of its services because the private industry always does it better than government. Government always has the shitty option.
Well, it's more responsive and more flexible.
Yeah. And we all know shit like, like government cheese. It's always a joke, right? Having to wait for all fucking day at the DMV to, change your middle initial or whatever. Like, everybody knows the government services suck.
Well, because bureaucracy slows everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the campfire in Paradise is a perfect example of how well people come together when other people are in need.
Yep.
There's hundreds of stories that have been posted on Facebook and the alternative media and the mainstream media, of people coming together to help these people in the campfire. Like there's a story in the local paper here, like the day after the fire started, like before you could even go up Highway 99 and get into Chico, there was a story here about a guy that went to the Goodwill and dropped like $800 on clothing and drove it west up 101 to 299 over into Redding and then south back down into Chico. Like he took a 10-hour route for what should have been a 2-hour drive, but because of the fire he couldn't go north. So he took 8 hours out of his way,
and he still got there faster than government help
to deliver clothing to people.
Yep.
There's stories about there's like a family of 6 that their house burnt down and they were staying in a tent. And there was a local news story about them. Like they're talking to them and they showed the tent. Like all 6 of them were staying in this little tent, and some guy in Utah saw it, and the guy in Utah is like, I have a camper I'm not using, and he contacted the family through Facebook and drove a camper out to them, and now the family's living in a camper, and other people saw the story about him driving the camper and donated all sorts of stuff. There are people from all over the country that are in contact with the guy in Utah, getting campers to him or having him hook them up with other families that lost their homes, and people are donating or long-term renting or
loaning their own campers.
Use it until I don't need it. Use it until you don't need it anymore.
Right.
To campers to people.
Yeah.
And it's like that is so much better than government service. Like FEMA.
Hell yeah.
It took FEMA like 10 days to get there. And now FEMA's talking about renting an empty field on the north side of town and bringing in trailers. Like, what's that going to do? What's that really going to do? It'll get some people out of the cold and out of the rain, but what's that going to take? 3 months to get there?
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of trailers to get there. Number one.
Right.
Number two, we know the quality of government products. I mean, they destroyed like 1,000 of them right before Maria hit Houston because they had mold in them. And
if people insist that FEMA does something, why doesn't FEMA just insure the campers that people are donating and like encourage people to donate or to loan their camper to a family in need and just give some kind of insurance that if it's damaged, they'll be reimbursed for that. Like, I mean, and I would be so grateful. Right. I would be so grateful if somebody loaned me a camper in a situation like that. I would take the world's best care of it. I think most people would be very respectful.
There was another article about a guy in Southern California who's from the Paradise area, millionaire in Southern California, from the Paradise area, and he saw what happened, and he actually got in contact with the principal of Paradise High School, and got hooked up with the kids, and actually came up and gave the kids a check for like $1,000 to each kid. It came out to like $1.2 million. He wrote him a check. Here's a check for $1,000. Right, and his justification was because these kids need money now. Right. They don't need it in 2 months. Like if you were to set up an organization or you were to donate it to the Red Cross or whatever else, through bureaucracy, I mean, these kids might not ever get the $1,000.
Right.
They might,
but they need clothes. I mean, most of them have nothing but the clothes on their back, so they need clothes.
The fire moved so quick that most people escaped with nothing but the clothes on their back.
Right. That's what I just said. That's all they have. So they need toothbrushes. They need, they need clothes. They need food. They need shampoo. They need toiletries. They need every fucking thing. They have literally nothing. Everything in their life, every material possession is ash. And yeah, they need money right fucking now to get the things that they need.
Yep. And
well, I just wanted to put in two things. Is that I mean, I'm glad that people come together during natural disasters, but it seems to be that it takes that for people to come together, which is the sad part. But the positive part is that they do come together. But well, I mean, it's all a matter of really. I mean, because they're I mean, people do work together, but I mean, it seems that it takes a tragedy for people to really
to put politics aside,
become in tune with their become in tune with their humanity and like have compassion for other people and things like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I wanted to say was that this it always demonstrates every time that there is a natural disaster that there are people that are compassionate and there are people that want to help other people.
Right.
And that it's way more responsive than any government bureaucracy or whatever. It always outshines whatever the fuck government can offer. So it's like, oh, what's the better option here, guys? We govern ourselves and work together, or we fucking all get robbed by this one fucking monopolistic entity that provides shitty service.
Right. That provides either shitty or non-existent fucking service, regardless of what they promise.
Lip service.
Yeah, lip service, shit service, or lip service. That's all you get.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That should be the slogan. Actually, if I run for president in 2020, it's going to be shit service or lip service. There you go.
Right. Shit service or lip service. Name your poison.
Hindsight is 2020.
Dan Holder, memes for a better tomorrow.
Can I be your running mate, Dan?
Yes.
Jesus. Hindsight
no, this is exactly the reason why I am anarchist. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly the reason why I am anarchist, because you don't want anybody like me near power.
No.
Because there'd be a lot of people hanging from fucking lamp posts.
10 out of 10, they're gonna fucking misuse it. Okay, they're gonna misuse the power of your life.
I admit that I misuse it. That's why I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, I misuse the power over my own life, but you know what? That's my fault. That's my responsibility.
Yeah, let's mitigate that.
Yeah,
let's mitigate that. I don't want to have to do any further damage. I'll relegate it to myself.
Because I said so.
For me, it's the other. You could state it the other way, because I can't even fucking manage my own life properly. I have zero business trying to manage somebody else's fucking life. And I don't think I'm unique. I think everybody has trouble managing their own fucking life. I
know better than you how to run your own life, though.
Right. Yeah. No.
That's essentially what government is.
Yeah, that's exactly what government is. Yeah. So.
All right. Now,
I know a better way. Do it my way, or I'll throw you in a cage.
Yeah.
Because I said so.
At gunpoint.
Yeah.
Resist me and I'll shoot you and say that I feared for my life.
But we're the heroes of the toughest men on the planet.
Right. Back the blue, bitch. Or I'll fucking throw you in prison for playing NWA.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. We've buried the lead literally the whole episode, so let's get to this last one and then.
All right.
Westford residents gives town the middle finger, and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
So awesome. This one I did see. I have been on a Facebook detox, but this one I did see.
If you find yourself... was that in?
Go ahead.
All right. If you find yourself doing a double take...
after you do the story.
Dude, don't say go ahead and then talk again when he starts talking. Rude. God.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, President Dan. Go ahead.
No, not you. I was talking to Dan.
She's giving me shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, Jason.
All right. If you find yourself doing a double take while driving down Route 128 between Westford and Fairfax, yes, that is a 7-foot-tall sculpture of a raised middle finger carved from a 700-pound block of pine and perched atop a 16-foot pole on the property of Ted Pelkey. Oh, and it's lit up at night. And then they have a picture of it lit up.
Fucking legend.
which is fantastic. Okay.
I want a gas lamp district full of those. Just like replace every gas lamp.
Pelkey erected the provocative sculpture on Friday in protest of a long-running dispute with the town of Westford. The town's development review board denied Pelkey a permit for an 8,000 square foot garage he wants to build on his 11-acre property.
Yeah. Permits. That's when the government takes your freedom and then sells it back to you.
Yeah, exactly.
He spent $4,000 on the middle finger sculpture carved in Vermont by an artisan he declined to name. Quote, "We've been trying to put a business there for the past 10 years, Pelkey said. It's just never ending. Their railroading is really good."
Yeah, that's what they do. All these little fucking bureaucrats get high on their fucking little minuscule fucking marbles of power that they have, and they can't help but abuse them.
Yeah.
They just can't fucking help it.
There's people that like came up here from the city that wanted to develop like a huge plot of land in the area and like bring in businesses and shit, and the bureaucrats in the town were like, "Oh no, we don't want that. It'll be an eyesore."
Yep.
Yeah, in our town, the zoning laws are so strict because they want to keep the small town feel. Okay, you want to keep your small town feel. Meanwhile, I have to drive 45 fucking minutes anytime I need to go to the doctor or the fucking dentist because there's nothing here. And you won't let anything move here, you asshole.
Exactly. That's what they do.
Pelkey's business is currently located in Swanton, where he says he's running out of space. His main business is cleaning pools for a monofilament line company, or cleaning spools for a monofilament line company. Pelkey and his son also do some truck repair on the side. Quote, "It's a low-impact thing," Pelkey said of his business. "We have such little traffic you'd wonder if we were open." Allison Hope, chair of the Westford Select Board, said Pelkey's application for a building permit fell short of the permits it needed to score in the review process by the development. Allison Hope, chair of the Westford Select Board, said Pelkey's application for a building permit fell short of the points it needed to score in the review process by the Development Review Board.
Dude, I almost fell asleep while you were reading what she said. That's like some fucking hardcore bureaucracy bullshit right there.
Yeah, seriously.
For a building permit, his application for the building permit fell short of the points it needed to score in the review process by the Development Review Board.
So it's just a way to railroad people, essentially.
So, what are these points?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's all subjective.
And there's a score, and not only that, but then the score has to then there's the review process, and it goes through this board. And holy shit!
Right. A notice of the decision provided by the Burlington Free Press by the towns listed a variety of reasons for the denial of the building permit, including that the application does not describe the purpose, use of the structure, and that it doesn't include the necessary information about lighting that will, quote, likely be needed for security purposes.
Holy shit. None of that is your fucking business.
Right?
My God.
It's an 8,000 square foot business on his 11-acre property.
Yeah. 8,000 square foot is not that big on that size of fucking property. It's really not.
Yeah,
you know?
And the middle finger? Question mark. Quote, "He apparently can do what he's done," Hope said in the sculpture. Hope had the town's planning coordinator look at the zoning regulations, and there was nothing the town could do to stop the finger from being raised. "It's not advertising a business or service, so it's not a billboard," Hope said, which are banned in Vermont. Instead, it falls under the category of public artwork.
Yeah. So they're fucking eating it now. He didn't need a permit to build that fucking middle finger.
Hold on. Yeah. Quote, "The Pelkeys can do what they like to exercise their free speech within the laws and regulations."
No, that's not how that fucking works. That's not how any of this works.
Residents were like, I don't see
You
a
can
problem
do
with it.
what
That's
you
like
like
he's
as long
exercising
as
his free speech. Like,
yeah. Like, I don't know why they even bother saying that. You can do what you like as long as you only do things we like. That's like, why even bother saying you can do what you like? Because you fucking can't.
You have the freedom to do whatever you want. You have the freedom to do whatever you want as long as it follows the law.
Right.
Yeah. Within these parameters.
Yeah. You're free within this fence line. You're free on this plantation to stay on this plantation and work on this plantation. But don't you try to leave.
It's like having dogs and like setting up an electric fence they can't see and then telling them they're free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even tell my dogs they're free. I have fucking.
They just know.
I have a aluminum fence with deer net on it and shit. I'm like, you're not going anywhere, you little assholes.
Burlington attorney Brian Monaghan has represented Tokyo for the past 6 or 7 years and said, "Quote: I think what I would say is that he doesn't feel like the town of Westford has given him a fair shake."
Oh, you think? No, I think people go around carving 7-foot tall statues in the middle finger for fun.
Well, if you're an anarchist, you do, but
well,
yeah,
maybe.
There's the close up of the statue on the ground from the carving.
That's awesome, and it's lit up.
Well, see, this is
it's
a perfect example of like. This is a perfect example of what Jason was saying earlier about how nothing makes more anarchist than the state. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
The guy's probably an anarchist, but he just doesn't know it.
Right. So many people are. Like, for real. So many people are, and they just don't realize it. They're too afraid of the word to really understand. You know, like so many people believe that freedom is the ultimate, like, you know, principle that people should be living their lives by. I mean, but they don't realize these other things that they support are kind of the opposite of that, kind of the antithesis of that. Like,
well, if
they don't realize.
If he just votes for Republicans, everything will change. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, of course. God, they just don't. I mean,
that's the mentality, though. That's why I had to make a joke about it because it's like it's so ridiculous that like
I know
there's
there's a big problem with definitions and shit these days, and you know, intellectual honesty. And anyways, I could go on for hours about that shit, but what else is in that article? Jeez.
That was it.
Okay.
The only other thing is that he was he appealed the decision, but he hasn't heard back from them.
Of course not.
He appealed the decision.
Well, you think that they're going to give him a favorable fucking thing?
Yeah, he appealed the decision and still put up the finger.
Yeah. I say that he just built a personal garage on his fucking property. That was his problem, honestly. He was being too fucking honest with them.
I think that the government is the problem, but I understand the point.
Right, no. But I mean, like, you know, when you're dealing with these assholes, don't be any more fucking honest with them than they are with you, and they're not at all honest with you. Exactly. They don't fucking deserve your honesty. Get around them however you can.
But they might have had a hard-on for him, and if they found out, they probably would have fucking slammed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I just a middle finger is. I want to say it's not as cool as the Killdozer.
No, no way. Killdozer's like
definitely makes a fantastic statement.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a non-violent statement.
And he can just leave it up forever, and then they'll be the town.
Other end of the spectrum.
Oh, I guarantee you at the next meeting, the next community meeting or county meeting or whatever, they're going to talk about that and they're going to try and get some ordinance.
Yeah.
That would call it a vulgar gesture or something like that and try to get it taken down.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's the way threatened. That dictators do things.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't think dictators be like they do.
but they do.
But they be, yeah.
But they be. Well, on that note.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
They got dicks to take. They're dictators. I mean, dictators gonna dictate, right?
Well, I mean, shit, you got people think like, dictatorship exists on a federal level. That shit exists all the way down to a fucking,
Yeah. It exists even in your family. Like, I'm a dictator in my house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't deny that. But you know what? I actually have a right to be in my house on my property with my children who I am responsible for. So, but I am.
But I mean, like, even like HOAs are a small dictatorship. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We got so many HOAs out here. I despise them so bad.
We have so many out here. You can't, around this area, within, I mean, a couple 100 miles of us, it's almost impossible to buy new construction that is not in an HOA. Like, they're extremely rare, so they're higher property values, because almost every builder does HOAs now. It's fucking ridiculous.
All right, one more quick laugh before we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. AK-47 involved in accidental shooting of teen was stolen and burglary earlier that day. Humboldt, Texas, the AK-47 rifle involved in the accidental shooting of a 17-year-old girl Tuesday was linked to a burglary that occurred earlier in the day. The girl accidentally shot herself when she tried putting the weapon in her pant leg.
We've got our plot for gun stories, Dan. We've got our plot.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
wandered
right.
off. Wandered off all by itself.
Darwin has an eye twitch going over that one.
We can tie in the Me Too movement because it tried to get in her pants.
Now, she didn't get killed, right?
No, she lived.
Where did she shoot herself? In the leg?
In the leg, yeah.
Okay, so she's not eligible for a Darwin Award, so that kind of fucking sucks.
Smooth move, X-Flex.
Because I don't know if you guys know this, but in order to get a Darwin Award, the Darwin Awards are a real thing. There's books that come out every year. I didn't know if you guys knew that. But in order to qualify for a Darwin Award, you have to effectively remove yourself from the gene pool, either by killing yourself somehow or by fucking blowing off your genitals. In some way, rendering yourself unable to procreate. So that's the actual prerequisite for earning a Darwin Award is to remove yourself from the gene pool.
Make Darwin great again.
Yeah. Have you guys ever read the Darwin Awards?
No.
Oh my God.
I'm
looking them a copy.
I'm looking them up after we get off this, though.
Yeah, the Darwin Awards.
Would a woman, like a feminist getting a hysterectomy, consider as Darwin Award material or no?
No, it has to be some kind of systemic, societal stupidity isn't enough. It has to be extreme, fucking hilarious stupidity. Like the guy that glued his hands to a rhinoceros's ass and he fucking died because he suffocated on shit because the thing shit on him so much. He suffocated. That guy won a Darwin Award.
The lady in Washington that died from the brain bacteria a year after using tap water in her neti pot. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that wasn't necessarily stupidity, but
tap water.
Well, true, tap water, but I mean, most of the Darwin Award winners are males, and they usually mangled their junk in some ridiculous fucking Superman plan kind of way,
oh my God.
You guys know what I'm talking about, man plan. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, but it's hilarious. You guys should get yourselves copies if you ever, I don't know, are sitting in a waiting room somewhere. You should take that book with you because it's fucking awesome. So,
all right, you guys got.
Well, I'm gonna pitch my next pitch is I'm gonna do the hashtag feminist hysterectomy challenge.
The what? You were breaking up.
No, I said I'm gonna do the hashtag feminist hysterectomy challenge.
Yeah. Right? Your uterus is oppressing you because
exactly. You don't need to have children.
Right. Your uterus is pressuring you every month to get pregnant, and it punishes you with your menstrual cycle when you don't. This is oppression, and you need to root this out by the ovaries. Just rip it all out. Dude, I already have your whole fucking, like, all you had to do was say that. Now I've got all your rhetoric plan, propaganda campaign, and I know just how we can
There's a
spread the word.
50% chance that you could produce a
male.
fucking a member of the
Yeah.
patriarchy. Yes.
Your uterus is a tool of the patriarchy because it doesn't even allow you to choose the gender of your child. Not that you can choose the gender of a child. You can't even recognize the gender of a child. You have to wait until the child is 8 years old before you can give them hormone treatments to become the gender that you've pressured them into being.
Exactly. You let them decide. It doesn't matter what they're going to tell you.
But you don't actually let them decide. You have to, like, drop subliminal messages through their entire childhood and fucking pressure them to be what you want them to be.
Oh, God. I hate society.
Yeah, it makes me sick, dude.
Me too.
It really does. Oh, my God.
I think Jason and I were talking about this a couple days ago on Telegram. Just because Declan overheard his brothers joking around. You know all the jokes about like people saying, "Oh, capitalism is gay," because you're literally like collecting pictures of other dudes, and you know what I mean. Like, so the big boys joke around with each other and say that like wanking is gay because you're touching a dick, right? But my 5-year-old heard that, and he thought that he was gay because he touches his dick in his bedroom by himself. And so he tells me the other day, he's like, "Hey, Mom, did you know that I'm gay?"
Oh my God, no.
I was like, "No, I didn't know that. What makes you say that, though?" And he's like, "Oh, because of the stuff that I do in my room by myself that I'm not supposed to do in front of other people." And I'm like, "You mean playing with your peanut?" Because he calls it his peanut. And he was like, "Yeah, if you touch peanuts, you're gay." And I touch my peanut. And I was like, "That's not quite what that means, honey." And I explained to him, I was like, "It doesn't matter, but you're not old enough to even think about that, because like gay is if you wanted to kiss and date and marry a boy, right? Just touching your peanut doesn't make you gay." And but he's like, he'll be 6 in February, and he has no fucking clue.
Yeah,
none. He only knows what he's absorbed from people around him. So like this mom in Texas who's saying her 6-year-old is going to transition in 2 years because he knows he's trans, I call fucking bullshit. Because you know
kids
what?
Don't know shit about shit in that regard.
No,
man.
They don't. Declan is not my first.
They only know what they're told, like, pretty much.
Right. This isn't just a one kid like anomaly. I mean, I have a 16-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I have a 16-year-old stepson too, who's almost 17. Like, this ain't my first rodeo. I've been doing this parenting thing for a while. And I don't give a fuck if that mother is a pediatrician. She's abusing her fucking kid. If he's 6 and thinks that he's trans only when he's around her. He's not like that when he's with his dad, her ex-husband. So, yeah, Jason and I were talking about that. Anyways, that's how that topic came.
What I don't understand, I mean, obviously it's a social engineering program that they're pushing. But it was never this prevalent like 10 years ago. Like, I mean, for a group that comprises like maybe 1 to 2% of society on the
not
whole.
Even. Oh, not even. Not even close.
If that.
It's like.
But they make it seem like it's like
1/100.
Like, it's so normal now. Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
though.
like
It's like it's so
of 100
ridiculously
is what I'm saying, or like 1,000. Yeah. Right.
I don't know, man. It's fucked up. Like that's the thing that sticks with me is like if you're an adult and you want to do that shit, whatever, just be retarded on your own.
Right.
But don't push that shit on kids, man. Like, cause that shit fucking it really gets to me.
And what is with people always having to jump feet first into everything? Look, it used to be that you taught your kids don't do anything irrevocable. Okay, let's just wait a while and see. Don't do anything irrevocable. don't, when in doubt, don't do anything, just wait and see. Like that's how we grew up, right?
It could be a phase.
Right. And if it's not, okay, great. When you're old enough to really know your mind, whatever, that's your life and it's up to you. But what happened to parents saying, you are too young to be chopping parts of your body off, or to be chopping your body off,
chemically castrate you because you think you're a female,
or to be interfering with your natural growth processes? And puberty is a natural growth process.
Well, you got to recognize the amount of, or the role that social pressure plays in this sort of thing.
Oh, with kids, hell yeah.
Not only with kids, but with adults.
Yeah.
Like the inundation of this and like
and it's not just social pressure; it's social currency.
So yeah, it is social currency. But, it's what other people are doing. It's what the cool people are doing. I want to be like them. Look at how brave they are.
Right.
Blah blah blah.
Or it's like Munchausen by proxy almost, but it's like
it's no different. It's no different in a lot of ways than like Black Lives Matter or the Occupy movement or the Patriot movement or anything else.
It gets people attention.
Exactly.
And some of these parents, comparing it to Munchausen by proxy is a very apt comparison. I think it's a version of Munchausen by proxy.
Very much so.
Like, instead of the parent making their child sick to get the attention that comes from being the caregiver of a very sick child, they are making their child trans to get the attention that comes with being the brave, supportive, awesome parent of a child.
It's the same the same attitude taken to an extreme, of course, that you find in people that push their sons to play football or baseball or things like that, or force their daughters to do beauty pageants and things like that. Like,
right.
Parents try to live vicariously through their children.
Right. And you know what? This whole thing with like the it's typically far left people like this. They don't understand. They bitch about shit like toxic masculinity, and they don't see that they are the flip side of that exact same fucking coin. Their shit is every bit as toxic.
Oh, it's way more toxic
at the other end, at least. Yeah. It's at least as toxic.
Well, toxic masculinity is just men being men, and that actually fucking held things together for a long time.
No,
I
emasculated men. I meant the ones. No, I meant the ones who use it. Not the ones who use it for everything and to just hate men in general, but the ones who use it for men who are like super asshole macho,
like alpha. Yeah.
Right, but the ones that are real dicks about it. You know what I mean? Like. So the people who use toxic masculinity for those extreme examples, to which it might even actually apply, I don't fucking know. But the people who use that,
guys like that are douchebags. I would agree that it's.
But toxic femininity is a thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
let's get that straight right now.
The meme, and it has it has a line that's like fascism on one side and socialism on the other, and then right below it is a circle, and fascism and socialism are right at the top together.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
I was just gonna say that too. You took the words right out of my mouth.
They try to advertise themselves as the opposites of the toxic masculinity and the hierarchy and the patriarchy and all this other
it's polarization.
But they always say there's a thin line between love and hate, and this is the same concept. Where the two extremes are actually so close together just because of how extreme they are.
Yeah, instead of coming into like cohesion and balancing each other out, that they've gotten total like polarity mode.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It's identity politics, because you can't hold a position anymore without identifying as part of the entire community that also holds that position. Like you can't have individual opinions on different issues anymore. You have to be like a one issue fucking identifier these days.
Politics in and of itself is kind of like racist and sexist and everything else that they project and call everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
right?
It's hilarious.
And it's the same thing we're talking about, like how the government is like an abuser in an abusive relationship. It's projection, it's gaslighting.
Yep.
These are all abusive. All of these are what I would consider toxic and abusive relationships. You know, all of these political identity politics, like segregating themselves and shit. All of this is toxic, in my opinion.
Yep. It's all antithetical to freedom.
Yep. It absolutely is.
Make Darwin great again.
Yep. Right. Ladies, go get hysterectomies.
Well,
Men,
what
better
way to undermine social cohesion than fucking to polarize everybody and atomize everyone in the sense where they can fucking hate on each other, you know what I mean? And actually work towards a common goal.
Right. Because we're just individual sticks. We can't be a faggot unless we're bundled together.
Exactly.
And they can't break us if we're faggots.
Nope. We can take a pounding.
They can't let us bundle together, or we become the unbreakable.
We can't have Slinky up in there now.
Leave Deliverance out of this.
ain't nobody got time for that.
The banjo plays in the distance.
Dude, for real, Dan, I've been to his house. You're not even joking.
I know. You said that shit doesn't even show up on GPS. So
it doesn't. We had to meet him at the truck stop.
That's
and
legit.
It's like a fucking 20-minute drive. It's not that far as the crow flies, but it's through like fields where there's legit no driveway or road through them at all, and like hills and shit. So we're just like fucking cross country fucking off-roading to get to his trailer back on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. On that note, you guys got anything else?
No, I gotta pee. I gotta go.
Yeah, I got stuff to do.
All right. On that note, thank you for joining us, episode 50. We'll catch you next time, whenever that is. Probably next year.
Peace.